Eagle Eye Reports, a closer look at life at Maple River. The first day of school often comes with a mixture of emotions from parents and students. From deciding what to wear to the obligatory first day picture, it's a long-standing tradition of autumn. For teachers, it's much the same, but a lot goes into getting ready for students to arrive. So let's take a closer look. First, let's find out if teachers get nervous.
I still get nerves. I get nerves a lot. It's really like starting a new job every year. You have a new group of kids. Sometimes you have a new group of teachers with you. It's the same content, but it isn't the same work friends, right? Because my room is full of 20 other new bodies every year. So I still get nervous. It's something that I thought would go away, but it never really has.
I would have to say, when I was first became a teacher, that yes, I was nervous. I'd have to say now it's not, the nerves aren't really there. People always ask me, oh, you're going back to school. Are you excited, disappointed? And I guess it's something that I signed up for. So, when it comes around, I'm ready to roll.
But it's still a little nerve-wracking, but I think it's more butterflies of excitement rather than dread.
Yeah, I've been waiting for that day for a very long time. I had a really good student teaching experience, so I wasn't too nervous about the first day. I think I was more nervous of how the students were going to be, like if they're going to get my jokes when I start, if they're going to be really receptive of me, if they're going to get along. I was mainly just really excited to meet them. They're a really great group of kids. All my classes are fantastic so far.
I had a lot of nerves, but I also was very, very excited. So coming into it, I just didn't know what to expect. I was a student teacher in kindergarten last year, and so third grade was new to me. And just kind of coming into it, I knew the idea of what to do, kind of, but it's like you really don't know what you're doing until you start. And so it's a lot of guessing, and it was really nerve-wracking. But the first day, I felt really excited. So.
For elementary teachers, getting a classroom ready for students can take weeks of preparation.
I think that preparing for kids to come to school in an elementary room is much different than what a middle school, high school teacher has to do. Our environment is very important to these kids. So I don't know about all other teachers, but I start thinking the beginning of August what this room is going to look like. And then I'm here early, like getting your room to look inviting to the kids. You have to think about the fact you've got boys, you've got girls. You need to be inviting to all of those kids. This is going to be their home 8 hours a day, 5 days a week.
Oh boy, it took me a long time to get my room ready. I was very grateful. I had a lot of helping hands come. My mentor teacher from last year, she came down, she was hanging up posters. My mom, my sisters, my dad, I got the whole crew in here. We were organizing books because you don't really think about how much goes into a classroom, and especially as your first year, until you are like, oh wow, I need to get a calendar, or I need to get lockers or numbers for their lockers, or I need to get books. All of these books, it's like they need things to be able to read. And so as I was coming into the room, I was like, okay, I need to start getting these things rolling. So I started in July, and then I rolled it out, I think, just about every week until start of the school year.
What you're holding?
This is my little smart cookie. See, yep, this is another thing that you just think about. I've got all these little things for the kiddos, and it's the little things that really do go a long way with these kids. So.
Next, let's find out what kind of activities teachers are using to make first impressions.
One thing that I do in my classroom is I have stickers on the desk that have different numbers. So I'm like, person 1, ask person 2 what their favorite color is. Ask what they thought about the lab scavenger hunt, things like that.
So I did like a hot seat and just ask whatever you want, just so that they know who they're with all day long. And then we kind of did the same thing with each other. So then they're able to talk to each other, get to know each other. And yeah, it's fun.
Tricks or activities, not necessarily, but I do, when they walk in the very first day, they have a seating chart. I do find that helps so that they know what their space is. For those kids that kind of don't know maybe where they want to sit or who they want to sit by, I think it helps to know this is where I'm going to sit.
There was a few years where I wrapped up all kinds of toys and candy in plastic wrap, and they had to have oven mitts and had to they got timed and and then whatever they got out of it, they got to take home with them, right? You could really see personalities and things that way.
I used to do a snowball fight where kids would wrap up, write down 3 things about themselves, crumple it up, we'd throw them around the room, and then I would use it as a teaching moment that was the first and last time that they could throw things in my room, but that just kind of went by the wayside.
For middle and high school teachers, these first day introductions often take place each hour.
My first class is second hour, so second hour starting out, I'm like shaking a little bit, and I'm like in my head, I'm like, oh, we gotta get this done, checking around, make sure they're paying attention. But like as the day goes on, you just get more used to it, more used to the environment, and like 5th period chem, I was nailing it. And then I had to start over with 6th period science 9, a new class, a new one, and I was like, oh, back to the beginning. But like I had a lot of students, they're like, oh, see you later, see you tomorrow, and I was makes the day worth it when one of them smiles at you. So
the end of the first day, I feel a little bit like a broken record. However, about the last 5 years, I have gone away from going through the syllabus and reading it and stuff like that, and we're actually do an outdoor activity. So my college classes and my regular bio classes, we have gone outdoors, and we've started looking at some of the great things we have around our new school building. So we have a lot of wildflowers and stuff like that. So in other classes, they've heard the same spiel over and over again. We'll do that next week, but I just kind of like to get them out. My anatomy kids, we did a game the first day, so.
Well, sometimes you wonder if you're repeating yourself or if you've said the same thing twice in 1 hour. But a lot of times, what I do is I really, introduce myself, and I really let the kids know who I am, where I come from. I talk about my family. I talk about my likes. I talk about some of my unique talents that I have. I tell the kids I can juggle, I can stand on my head, I can do a headstand, things like that. But I really want the kids to know that I'm very open, and that they can come to me with questions and concerns, and then I still think I'm kind of funny. I like to try to tell some jokes, and they don't always laugh at them. But
with over 165 teaching days in a year, making a good first impression is very important.
As far as the first few days of school, or even the first day of school, and I tell the new ones this too, we just want to get them on the right bus and home at the end of the day. We don't want to lose anybody, right? We want to make sure that everybody is here and where they need to be when they need to be here. And really make that first day just getting to know each other.
I think building relationships is the most important thing coming into the first day. Letting the kids feel comfortable and where they're at, just because this is where they're going to be the rest of the year. Getting to know each other, and then myself getting to know them as well, making those connections. So then when we start teaching curriculum, I can kind of throw in their experiences into what we're learning and have them be able to connect to the school a little bit more.
Well, being in my 21st year of teaching here at Maple River, the big thing that I want to do is I want to set a good foundation for my classroom where the kids understand what are my expectations, what are the routines, but then at the same time, I really try to get to know my kids, like my students, like what do they like, what don't they like, and just to get to know them as people.
That's the best time to set up relationships and make those connections with your students. The sooner you do that, the better your classroom goes in the year. It's best to set up relationships between the students themselves. I know at a school like this, they all know each other, but maybe they don't know each other.
The first days of school, I think, are about just setting up a nice routine for the kids. And welcome them and know that this is going to be a safe place. Traditionally, my classes are a little feared, so trying to ease that fear a little bit as well. But it's really about setting up a routine so they know what to expect of me, and that just usually makes the year go a lot smoother.
Your best. We're here to make these kids feel like this is home and comfortable, and really, in the first couple days of school, that's your main goal. So,
and looking back on your first day, how would you grade yourself?
Oh boy, well, I got everybody home safe, and there was no one hiding in lockers or under the desks when I came back to the classroom, so I would say an A. Okay. I would say an A.